our video last week, I had quite a few people reaching out and saying, hey, I had the same thing. And some of them were on their own healing journey. Hey everyone, it's Kaylee and Emmanuel. It's great to have you here, and we want you to know that you're loved and there's a purpose for your life.
Yes, and last week we talked about abuse. It was a very deep topic, and thank you for your support, thank you for your feedback. Today we want to continue the conversation, and we want to talk about the children's perspective on abusive household. And our hope is really to raise awareness, to encourage really sharing, to encourage being open about it, and also to encourage being sensitive about it, because you might have experienced, or you might experience some level of abuse yourself right now, but it can also be that you know someone that might be experiencing something. And the more we are open and the more sensitive we are, I think the more we can also support each other. And we want to talk about children today, because children, also in a family context, like a lot of families that are broken or families that do experience abuse, children are the ones that are most vulnerable and least able to defend themselves, to speak up. And but there are often cues that maybe we can pick up from seeing how they relate to others, seeing how they respond. Like Kaylee has experienced a lot. I think for you it started when you were like 3-4 years old, when something changed for you.
When things got worse in a way that I could notice.
Yes.
Things like not playing games together or not having family hugs anymore. Like, those were the things that I first actually became aware of, like something's wrong. And there are so many things that get in the way of children being able to share. I mean, first of all, children don't know how to process their emotions, and it's only since I've been reflecting on my past and healing and learning about child psychology and everything that I learned that parents have a key role in helping children express their emotions and
understand first and then express.
Understand that they have some emotions, that what they're feeling is an emotion, how they can then share that with others and communicate it. And that was like a revelation for me, because the feeling that I can now identify as having a lot as a child is being frozen and confused and not knowing what to do. Having that in mind is helpful to realise why you might have known people or children and not known that they were in an abusive household.
And I think there's a lot of children that never really understood what they have experienced, never really went through the process. In general, they end up maybe being really angry, or they end up being abusive themselves.
They go to other extremes.
They go to extremes, and often you don't really understand why, but I think a lot of times it is because they have something they have not really processed.
True. And so another encouragement to help ourselves stay away from those extremes, including sadness and depression. There's a lot that talking about things can do to help. And then there are other, because of that poor processing of things as a child, there are things that I've noticed I've had to overcome now in order to share. I mean, first of all, I was discouraged from sharing anything personal, anything about my family life as a child. So growing up, when I got to being a late teen, early 20s adult, I did think, if I'm to be loyal to my family, to my dad, who was asking me not to share things, then I shouldn't share. And then also the general principle, which I think most people have, of listening to your parents, and also not bad-mouthing your parents. Like, it's not something that people naturally want to do. And so it's really hard to accept, or it was hard for me to accept, that my reality was my father has been abusive. And again, I like to say when I talk about my dad that I love my dad and I pray for him that he'll make better decisions, you know. But the point of this video, and what I do want to practice, what I'm preaching, is that it's the best thing to talk about it. And so because I realised this is just the fact of life, this is what happened when I was a child, that helped me to realise, or to look at it a bit more subjectively, and then say, okay, this has happened, I need to get help. In order for me to get help, I need to share with people. In order for me to have any kind of genuine bond with my mum, with my family, they need to know what happened, because when you're hiding something so heavy, you can't connect with people, not truly. And so again, another encouragement to really find someone, whether that's a helpline or a really close friend or a family member who you can talk about this with. Best thing to do is to share it. From our video last week, I had quite a few people reaching out and saying, hey, I had the same thing, and some of them were on their own healing journey, and some haven't spoken about it yet. Some of them are adults, some of them are younger, and I can really empathise with why they might not have spoken yet. And a big thing, which also I was working against, is misinterpreting the Bible, actually, in that, and it's kind of like gaslighting yourself. If you don't know what gaslighting is, it's like questioning someone's reality. So I would read the Bible, and it's in Ephesians 6 where the Bible talks about honouring your father and mother. And because of what I was told as a child, I thought that honour means kind of blind obedience, really. And with some parents, you probably can be blindly obedient if they're safe and if they're giving you good counsel. But when you have an abusive home environment, blind obedience is dangerous. And especially when that parent is telling you not to talk about what's going on, if something's causing you trauma, this is not the time to be blindly obedient to that parent. And actually, it's not honouring your parent to support them in abusing you. And it's not honouring your parent to hide what they're doing from police. If they're being abusive, it's not helping them to hide that. It's not helping to hide it from family, from friends, or from yourself. Denying that they're abusive is not honouring your parents. And it took me a lot of being very honest and raw with myself to accept that. But it's the truth. If we're to really honour and care about people, then we'll be honest with ourselves and with others. And it's really hard, but I encourage those who are thinking about this topic to make the hard decision, the one that's going to keep you safe.